As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Part 1. A Mind That Shapes Worlds. Have you ever wondered why some people rise from nothing to achieve greatness, while others, with every opportunity at their fingertips, spiral into failure? What if the difference isn't in their background, education, or connections, but in something far more powerful and personal? Their thoughts? The world we experience outside is a direct reflection of the world we nurture within. Welcome to a journey that will change how you see your mind, your life, and your destiny, forever. In this video, we're diving into As a Man Thinketh by James Allen, one of the most timeless and transformational books ever written. You're about to discover the invisible force that shapes your character, your circumstances, and ultimately, your future. And the best part? It's all within your control. By the time you finish this video, you won't just understand how powerful your thoughts are, you'll know how to take back control of them. You'll walk away inspired, clear, and ready to begin reshaping your life from the inside out. So, if you're serious about self-mastery, personal growth, and creating a life of purpose and peace, then stay with me. This isn't just information, it's transformation. Let's start with the man behind the message, James Allen. Born in 1864 in England, James Allen wasn't a flashy speaker or famous guru. He was a quiet philosopher, a man of deep introspection and gentle wisdom. His life wasn't extraordinary in the traditional sense, but his mind was. Through simple, poetic language, Allen captured the most powerful truth in personal development. You are what you think. His book, As a Man Thinketh, first published in 1903, has gone on to influence millions. Titans like Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, and even top CEOs and spiritual leaders have praised it. Why? Because it cuts through all the noise and delivers one core, eternal message. You are the master of your mind, and your mind is the master of your life. The book begins with one of its most striking lines. A man is literally what he thinks, his character being the complete sum of all his thoughts. Pause and think about that. This isn't metaphorical or symbolic. James Allen is saying, very directly, that your entire character, who you are at your core, is the result of the thoughts you consistently think. Your courage or your fear, your kindness or your bitterness, your patience or your impatience. It all starts in the mind. This may sound radical at first, but look closer. Isn't it true that everything you've ever done started with a thought? Every success, every mistake, every moment of pride or shame, it all began with an idea, a belief, or an attitude. Thought is the seed, and your life is the fruit. You can't plant negativity and expect joy. You can't water thoughts of limitation and expect a harvest of freedom. Like a garden, your mind grows what you allow in. That's why Allen says character is not something you're born with. It's something you build, thought by thought, day by day. And here's where it gets even more powerful. Because you can change your thoughts, you can change your character. You're not stuck with who you've been. You're not doomed by your past patterns. You can become more patient, more focused, more courageous, more kind, if you're willing to cultivate the right thoughts. Allen is giving us both a warning and a gift. The warning: your thoughts are always creating, whether you're aware of it or not. The gift: if you become aware, you can create something better. So how do you begin to monitor and upgrade your thinking? First, become the watcher of your thoughts. Throughout your day, pause and ask, what am I thinking right now? Are your thoughts empowering or draining? Are they grounded in faith or fear? Keep a journal if needed. Write down recurring negative patterns and then challenge them. Replace "I'm not good enough" with "I'm growing stronger every day." Replace "This will never work" with "I'm open to finding a way." Thoughts, like muscles, grow stronger with repetition. The more you affirm your strength, the more it becomes part of you. Second, surround yourself with thought fuel that uplifts you. Books, conversations, environments, they all shape what you think about. Choose to read wisdom. Speak with people who challenge and inspire you. Clean up your mental diet like you would your physical one. If you wouldn't feed your body garbage, why do it with your mind? Let me share a story that brings this home. Imagine two men, both starting with the same job, the same salary, the same circumstances. One begins each day thinking, "I'm stuck. Nothing's ever going to change. I hate this." The other thinks, "This may not be perfect, but I'm growing. I'm learning. I'm going somewhere better." Over the years, one man becomes bitter, closed off, frustrated. The other becomes resourceful, resilient, and open to new opportunities. Eventually, he moves up, starts his own business, and lives a life of purpose. What changed? Not their environment, not their education, their thoughts. One man cultivated weeds, the other flowers. This is not just philosophy, it's real life. It's your life. So ask yourself, what are your dominant thoughts creating in your life right now? Take a moment. Be honest. Are they creating joy or stress? Are they building a better you or breaking you down? Because the truth is, you are always building something. The question is, what? You don't need more money, more time, or more support to begin. You just need to plant one new thought. Start today. Choose just one idea that inspires you and repeat it like a seed prayer in your mind. Something like, "I am capable of growth." Or, "My thoughts shape my reality." Watch how it begins to shift your emotions, your choices, your habits. James Allen reminds us that our mind is not a prison, it's a workshop. And the tools we use, our thoughts, determine the masterpiece we create. You have the power to reshape your entire life by reshaping your inner world. And that journey begins with awareness, with courage, with a single thought. So what will you think today? Part 2. Thought and circumstances. Life is not something that just happens to us. It's something we create, moment by moment, thought by thought. One of the most powerful truths in As a Man Thinketh is the idea that our outer world is a mirror of our inner world. The circumstances you face, whether they're uplifting or crushing, didn't appear out of thin air. They are the natural outgrowth of the seeds you've been planting in your mind, sometimes knowingly, often unconsciously. James Allen writes, "Circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself." That one line can reshape how you see your entire life. So, let's unpack this. The foundation of this chapter is the principle that we attract the circumstances of our lives based on the habitual state of our thoughts. If your thoughts are rooted in fear, limitation, anger, or self-doubt, you will continually find yourself in situations that echo those states back to you. Not as punishment, but as feedback. The world is showing you what's dominant in your mind. Think of your life as a field, and your mind as the farmer. Whatever seeds you plant, be it positivity or pessimism, faith or fear, will eventually sprout and fill your surroundings. The results may not show up overnight, but they will always show up. This is why poverty, failure, or success are not just products of chance, fate, or luck. They are mind-made. It's not about blaming yourself or others for where you are, but rather claiming your power to change it. People who think lack, speak lack, and expect lack tend to remain in lack. Those who think opportunity, speak vision, and expect growth even when circumstances are tough, tend to rise. You may say, "But I was born into hardship." Yes, and many people were, but some rise from it and some stay buried in it. The difference is almost always mental. Let's make it real. Picture two people facing job loss. One thinks, "I'm finished. Nothing ever works out. This is proof I'm a failure." The other thinks, "This is tough, but maybe it's pushing me towards something better. I've grown through hard times before. I'll rise again." Same event, different thought pattern. Fast forward a year. One may still be stuck in despair, while the other has started a business, found a new career path, or discovered a deeper sense of purpose. Why? Because your thoughts set the direction of your energy, your effort, and your outcome. Allen reminds us that when we adopt a victim mindset, we give away our creative power. We start to believe that life is happening to us, that we're stuck, and that we're helpless. But when we shift to a creator mindset, everything changes. We begin to see challenges as growth opportunities. We ask, "What is life trying to teach me here?" We stop reacting blindly and start responding consciously. The victim says, "Why me?" The creator says, "What now?" That's a mindset shift that can change your entire life. So how do you know what thoughts are guiding your life? Check your emotions. Emotions are like dashboard lights in a car. They don't lie. If you're constantly anxious, angry, frustrated, or hopeless, those feelings are signaling that your thoughts need adjusting. Instead of ignoring those feelings, use them as feedback. Ask yourself, what thought is underneath this emotion? If you feel anxious, maybe you're constantly thinking, "I'm not enough." If you're angry, perhaps the thought is, "Life is unfair to me." Once you uncover the thought, you can challenge it. You can replace it. You can plant something better. Here's a practical way to start. Daily awareness. Throughout the day, pause and reflect. What am I thinking right now? Is this thought empowering or disempowering? Combine this with journaling, just 5 to 10 minutes a day. Write down recurring thoughts and the feelings they produce. You'll start to notice patterns, some that have been running your life for years. Awareness is the beginning of mastery. Once you see the weeds, you can start pulling them. You can begin an inner shift that, over time, creates new, more abundant outer circumstances. Let me give you a powerful analogy that Allen uses: a farmer and his crops. Imagine your mind as a field, and every thought you have as a seed. The land doesn't care what you plant, it will return what you give it. If you plant poison, it gives you poison. If you plant corn, it gives you corn. Likewise, your subconscious doesn't judge or filter your thoughts. It simply accepts and returns them as circumstances. You can't expect a harvest of peace when you're planting seeds of worry. You can't expect a life of purpose when you're planting seeds of fear. This isn't about magical thinking. It's about spiritual law and psychological cause and effect. Let's make this more personal. Think of one area of your life right now that you're not happy with. Maybe it's your finances, relationships, health, or mindset. Now ask yourself, what dominant thoughts have I been feeding that area? If your finances are a mess, have you been thinking, "Money is hard to get," or "I'll never have enough"? If your relationships are strained, have you been thinking, "People always let me down," or "I can't trust anyone"? Those thoughts might feel justified, but they're also predictive. If you keep feeding them, you'll keep creating from them. Here's your challenge. What life situation have I created by how I think? Not what your parents created, not what society imposed. What you have allowed or repeated in your own mind that has shaped what you now experience. This isn't a question to shame you. It's to empower you. Because the moment you take ownership is the moment you regain control. You become the farmer again. And this time, you get to plant on purpose. So, where do you begin? Start by choosing just one thought to plant and water daily. Something like, I am the architect of my life. Or, my thoughts create my reality. Let that become your new seed. Speak it, write it, feel it, and then begin to notice how your outer world slowly begins to align with your new inner belief. James Allen's message is not that you can avoid all pain or difficulty. Life will bring storms, but even then, your inner world can remain your anchor. The person who guards their mind builds a fortress of peace, purpose, and power that no circumstance can destroy. Your thoughts are not random. They are creative. They are shaping your relationships, your health, your income, and your peace of mind. You don't have to control everything out there. You just need to control what's in here. And when you do, everything changes. Part 3. The power of purposeful thinking. There's a quiet danger that ruins more lives than failure, more dreams than rejection, and more talent than limitation. And that is aimlessness. A person without a clear purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It may float, but it drifts aimlessly, tossed about by the winds and waves of circumstance. James Allen makes this crystal clear in As a Man Thinketh. When the mind lacks purpose, it becomes weak, anxious, and unstable. But when it is fixed firmly on a goal, a reason for being, it gains power, clarity, and direction. The third chapter of Allen's timeless book is a wake-up call for anyone coasting through life. His message is simple but profound. Purpose gives your thoughts direction, and thoughts infused with purpose create transformation. It's not enough to think positively in general. You must think intentionally. You must aim your mental energy towards something greater than comfort, distraction, or survival. A mind filled with random, fleeting thoughts will scatter its power. But a mind trained on a clear purpose becomes unstoppable. Let's be real for a second. Most people don't fail because they aren't smart, talented, or capable. They fail because they don't know what they want. They're distracted by the next thing. 1 week it's starting a business. The next it's giving up. 1 month it's going to the gym. The next it's Netflix binges. They chase dopamine instead of direction. Allen writes, "Until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment." Read that again. Purpose is what turns random thought into focused creation. Without it, even the best intentions wither away. So, what does this mean in practice? It means you need to define your life's direction, even if that direction evolves over time. Start by asking yourself, what am I here to do? What kind of life do I want to live? What do I want to create, build, or change? You don't need a perfect answer right away, but you need a starting point, a North Star. Because without it, you'll be pulled in every direction, led by distraction instead of design. When you connect your thoughts to a clear purpose, you create alignment. You stop wasting mental energy on what doesn't matter. You no longer get caught up in petty worries, because now you're moving towards something meaningful. Your thoughts begin to serve your purpose, and that's when things start to shift. Clarity replaces confusion. Confidence begins to build. Energy returns. Why? Because your mind was meant to aim. It was meant to create. And without a purpose, it atrophies. Now, let's talk about application. If you want to harness the power of purposeful thinking, here are a few simple practices. First, set meaningful goals. Write them down. Big or small, they give your mind a target. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Be specific. I want to write a book that inspires people. I want to build a business that helps families. I want to become debt-free in 2 years. Purpose without action is just a dream. But purpose linked to specific goals? That's power. Second, affirm your purpose daily. Remind yourself each morning and evening what you're aiming for. Speak it aloud. Feel it in your body. Let it become your mental compass. When you do this consistently, your thoughts begin to filter out what doesn't align. Doubt loses its grip. Distractions become less tempting. Third, eliminate mental clutter. This means consciously stepping away from people, environments, and habits that keep you aimless. You cannot chase purpose and chase comfort at the same time. That may mean reducing screen time, saying no to toxic conversations, letting go of things that steal your focus but don't feed your soul. Think of it like pruning a plant. You're not killing the plant. You're helping it grow. Let's ground this in a real-world story. Meet Sarah. For years, she bounced from job to job, always chasing higher pay, but never feeling fulfilled. She was talented but restless. On weekends, she'd scroll social media, comparing her life to others, wondering why she felt so stuck. Then, during a leadership workshop, someone asked her, "What's your mission?" For the first time, she paused and reflected. She realized she loved helping young people navigate life. Mentoring, guiding, encouraging. That night, she wrote down her purpose: to empower young adults to find their path and believe in themselves. Everything changed. She signed up to volunteer at a youth center. She started a podcast. Within a year, she was leading workshops, speaking at schools, and had written an ebook. Her confidence soared. Not because she magically got lucky, but because she linked her thoughts to a purpose. Her mind became focused. Her time had meaning. And that purpose lifted her out of the fog of indecision. Like Alan said, "The man who has conquered doubt and fear has conquered failure." And purpose is what does that. Purpose beats fear every single time. When you don't have a purpose, fear has free rein. You become overwhelmed by what-ifs. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? What if people laugh at me? But when you're connected to something deeper than fear, when you're chasing a mission bigger than your ego, fear shrinks. It no longer paralyzes you because you have something worth pursuing, even if you're scared. This is your invitation to become a purposeful thinker, not just a daydreamer, not just a worrier, but someone who chooses their thoughts, aligns them with their purpose, and moves forward with intention. You are not here just to exist. You're here to create, to contribute, to make something of your life that matters. So here's your challenge for today. What's your definite purpose right now? Not the vague someday goal, but the mission that's calling you today. Write it down. Own it. Speak it. Let your mind rally around it like a warrior preparing for battle. Because when you think with purpose, you walk with power. Remember, clarity is strength. And the clearer your purpose, the stronger your thoughts become. And when your thoughts are strong and focused, your life becomes unstoppable. Part 4. The Secret of Self-Control. Let's talk about a truth many people avoid, yet it quietly rules over their lives like a shadow. If you don't master your thoughts will master you. In As a Man Thinketh, James Allen writes with a timeless force that pierces straight through the excuses we often give ourselves. He teaches us that self-control doesn't begin with the body. It begins in the mind. And the reason most people feel stuck, reactive, or undisciplined isn't because they lack willpower. It's because they've never trained their thoughts. We often think of self-control as resisting temptation or biting our tongue in the heat of the moment. But Allen reveals something deeper. The real battlefield is your inner world. He says, "A man is not rightly conditioned until he is a happy, healthy, and prosperous being. And happiness, health, and prosperity are the result of a harmonious adjustment of the inner with the outer of the man." In other words, when your inner world, your thoughts, is chaotic, your outer life will reflect that same chaos. Let's face it, the world we live in constantly throws distractions, temptations, and emotional triggers at us. Anger flares up in a traffic jam. Jealousy creeps in while scrolling social media. Lust sneaks in during a lonely moment. These aren't random. They're not just feelings. They are products of your thinking. Thoughts that were welcomed, repeated, and eventually turned into emotion. You didn't just feel jealous. You thought about what you lacked long enough until jealousy bloomed. You didn't just explode in anger. You mentally fed the fire, stoking every offense until it boiled over. James Allen says, "Man is made or unmade by himself, and the cornerstone of that making or unmaking is self-control. Not repression, not suppression, but true control. The kind that comes from awareness and intention, not fear and guilt. And here's the key. Self-control starts with controlled thinking. If your mind is a garden, what you allow to grow in it determines your life. Negative thoughts, like resentment, envy, lust, or hatred, are weeds. Leave them unchecked, and they overrun everything. But you can't just yank them out once and be done. No, mental discipline is daily gardening. It's the commitment to notice a thought, question it, and if it doesn't serve your highest self, replace it. So, how do we do that? How do we take back control of our thoughts in a world that thrives on hijacking our attention? Start with awareness. Begin to observe your mind. Notice the patterns. When you feel anger rise, pause. What thought preceded it? When you feel the urge to give in to temptation, what story is your mind telling you? Awareness is the first step because you can't change what you don't notice. Next comes mental discipline. This doesn't have to be some rigid, joyless pursuit. It can be powerful and even peaceful. One of the simplest and most ancient tools is meditation. You don't need to sit cross-legged for an hour chanting mantras. Start small. 5 minutes a day. Sit in silence. Focus on your breath. When your thoughts wander, and they will, gently bring them back. That's mental push-up number 1. Every time you redirect your attention, you're building the muscle of self-control. Another tool is breath work. Why the breath? Because it's a bridge between your body and your mind. When your breathing is slow and steady, your thoughts follow. Try box breathing. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 4. Exhale for 4, hold again for 4. It grounds you, centers you, creates space between stimulus and response. And then there's mental focus training. This is about choosing one positive, powerful thought to dwell on and staying with it. For example, choose a statement like, "I am in control of my mind." Repeat it. Feel it. Come back to it every time your mind drifts. Over time, this rewires your brain. You stop reacting. You start responding. Self-control isn't about becoming emotionless. It's about becoming emotionally intelligent. It's about seeing your emotions for what they are. Signals, not rulers. You may still feel anger, but you won't be ruled by it. You may still notice desire, but you won't be dragged by it. You become the driver again. Your thoughts become your servants, not your master. The benefits of this kind of self-control are life-changing. You gain clarity, no longer fogged by the storm of reactive emotion. You gain strength, because discipline is strength in motion. And you gain peace, the kind of deep, unshakable peace that only comes when your inner world is aligned. Let's take an example. Imagine a man named Daniel who used to live entirely by impulse. If someone insulted him, he lashed out. If he felt lonely, he chased attention. If he felt inadequate, he masked it with arrogance. But over time, he began to see the pattern, and it scared him. He realized he was a slave to his thoughts, so he started small. Every morning, he meditated for 5 minutes. He journaled what thoughts were dominating him. And every time he felt a wave of emotion, he asked, "Where did this start?" Months passed. Slowly, the space between thought and action grew. He stopped reacting and started responding. He didn't lose his fire. He just learned to direct it. Now, people describe him as calm, confident, and in control. Not because he changed his personality, but because he took back control of his mind. You can do the same. But it begins with this question. When was I last ruled by a negative thought? And why? Not to shame yourself, but to reclaim yourself. That moment holds a lesson. It holds a mirror. And if you're willing to look, you'll find where you need to grow. Here's the truth. Self-control isn't a prison. It's freedom. Because when you're not ruled by thoughts of fear, anger, or desire, you're free to choose, free to lead, free to love, free to create. So, the next time your mind tries to pull you into darkness, pause, breathe, notice, choose again. Because every time you master a thought, you master a piece of yourself. Part 5. The Mind-Body Connection. Let's talk about something most people never truly grasp until life forces them to stop and listen. The silent but powerful relationship between your thoughts and your body. In As a Man Thinketh, James Allen didn't just write about character or success, he devoted a vital section to health, revealing a truth that modern science is only just catching up with. Your thoughts directly shape your physical well-being. When people think about health, they think diet, exercise, sleep, and those matter, of course. But Allen invites us to look deeper. He teaches us that thought is the builder of the body, and that a healthy or diseased body often begins with the condition of the mind. In his words, the body is the servant of the mind. That means every time you think, feel, or imagine, you're influencing the cells of your body. Your inner climate, your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs, is either draining you or energizing you. Whether you're feeling vibrant or tired, confident or fearful, sick or strong, your thoughts play a key role. Think about it. How do you feel after a long day of worry? Not just mentally, but physically? Your shoulders tighten. Your chest constricts. Your stomach may churn. You might lose your appetite or crave junk. Now contrast that with a day when you're inspired and grateful. Your energy feels lighter. Your breathing is easier. Your body flows better. This isn't a coincidence. Thoughts trigger biochemical responses. Fear releases cortisol. Joy releases endorphins. Every emotion has a physical signature. Allen goes further. He says disease often begins in the mind. Chronic worry, anger, bitterness, these are mental poisons. Over time, they create stress, tension, and toxicity in the body. People walk around treating symptoms with pills, but they never treat the root, the toxic thought patterns creating those symptoms in the first place. Allen writes, strong, pure, and happy thoughts build up the body in vigor and grace. That means not only do negative thoughts damage the body, but positive thoughts heal it. Here's the empowering truth. Your mind is your greatest medicine. Calm, hopeful, cheerful, loving thoughts are like internal vitamins. They nourish your nervous system, strengthen your immune system, and create harmony in your physical organs. People who think in terms of peace, love, and purpose often enjoy radiant health, not just because they exercise or eat well, but because their thoughts are aligned with vitality. So, how can you apply this? How can you develop what I call a healthy thought diet? Start by becoming aware of what you're feeding your mind daily. Just like junk food hurts your body, junk thoughts hurt your health. Are you constantly replaying fears about the future? Are you angry at someone and holding on to grudges? Do you silently criticize yourself all day long? That's toxic fuel. That's mental sugar and grease. And it will show up, maybe not today, but over time, it will take its toll. To shift this, begin by choosing nourishing thoughts on purpose. Start each morning by affirming peaceful, positive intentions. Say things like, "Today, I breathe deeply and calmly. I choose thoughts that energize me. I let go of worry and choose trust." These aren't empty affirmations. They are direct messages to your nervous system. Repeat them long enough, and they become your reality. Throughout the day, especially when you feel tense, pause and check in. What's running in your mind? If it's fear-based, interrupt it. Replace it. Go for a walk, take 3 deep breaths, or write it down in a journal. Build the habit of redirecting your mental energy from what harms to what heals. Here's another powerful practice. Monitor your thoughts during eating, sleeping, and working. The 3 pillars of everyday life. When you eat, don't just eat healthy food. Think healthy thoughts. Bless your food. Feel grateful. Be present. Digestion improves when you eat in peace. Your body absorbs nutrients better when you're not scrolling stressful news or arguing with someone. Before sleep, instead of replaying worries, mentally scan your day with gratitude. Release any negative energy. Breathe deeply. Tell your body, it's safe to rest. Quality sleep begins in a calm mind. And while you work, notice if your inner dialogue is filled with pressure, doubt, or frustration. Shift it. Tell yourself, I am capable. I am focused. I do my best. And I let go of stress. That mental shift not only boosts productivity, it preserves your health. Let me share a real story that captures this principle in action. Years ago, a woman named Sarah was diagnosed with a chronic autoimmune disease. Doctors gave her medication, but nothing really changed. She was constantly exhausted and in pain. One day, a mentor asked her a powerful question. What if your illness is not just physical, but emotional too? That question shook her. She began to explore her inner world. What she found shocked her. Deep resentment toward a parent, years of self-hatred, fear of failure. She began working on her mind. She forgave. She spoke kindly to herself. She meditated, journaled, and visualized healing. She even created a mantra. My body is listening to my thoughts. Over time, her symptoms began to ease. Her doctor was amazed. The same woman who once felt hopeless was now hiking, smiling, and vibrant again, not because of magic, but because she changed her inner environment. Her thoughts became medicine. And now I ask you, what thoughts are draining or nourishing your body? Be honest. Are you feeding your body fear or faith? Anxiety or calm? Self-hatred or self-compassion? Your answer holds the key to your energy, your immune system, your mood, even your longevity. The mind-body connection isn't just philosophy. It's a daily practice. Every thought you think sends signals to your body. Every emotion you feel floods your system with either tension or harmony. You have more power than you've been told. You're not a victim of your health. You are a creator of it. So as you move forward, treat your thoughts the way you treat your body. Be mindful. Be intentional. Be loving. Because the healthiest version of you isn't just a result of diet and exercise. It's a result of how you think, moment by moment, day by day. Part 6. Vision and Ideals. Let's talk about something sacred, something that lives in the deepest part of your heart and mind, your vision, that glowing image of the life you secretly dream about, that quiet hope you carry when no one's watching, that whisper in your soul that says, "You were made for more." James Allen, in As a Man Thinketh, knew the transformative power of vision. He didn't just call us to be thinkers, he called us to be dreamers with direction. Because here's the truth. The dreamers are the saviors of the world. Allen writes, "Cherish your visions, cherish your ideals, cherish the music that stirs in your heart, the beauty that forms in your mind." That's not just poetic language, that's a call to action, a call to return to the dreams you've buried, to dust off the goals you've given up on, because what you consistently dream of, you will become. Let that sink in. What you hold in your imagination, what you nurture in your mind every day, that is who you are becoming. Your inner picture creates your outer life. You don't rise above your vision, you rise because of it. You don't achieve success by accident. You dream it into reality first. Whether you know it or not, your life is moving in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. And that includes your visions and ideals. Allen teaches that big dreams create new energy. Have you ever noticed that when you're excited about a future goal, really, truly excited, you suddenly feel more alive? You walk taller. You speak with more conviction. You work with more purpose. That's not coincidence. That's the power of vision. When you dream of a better future and believe it's possible, your brain begins working with you instead of against you. You shift from surviving to creating, from drifting to driving. But here's the problem. Too many people stop dreaming. Life gets hard, failures stack up, people disappoint you, and before long, you convince yourself that dreaming is childish, that vision doesn't work, that it's safer to just be realistic. And that's when the light starts to fade. That's when energy dries up. That's when life becomes just a routine instead of a mission. Allen says that your ideal, the highest picture you hold of yourself, is like a compass. It points you toward your true north. It keeps you on course when storms hit. It reminds you who you really are when doubt screams at you. If you lose your ideal, you lose your way. But if you hold your ideal, even if it's just a flickering candle in the dark, you will find your way again. So how do you begin to live from your vision and ideals? It starts with this. Give yourself permission to dream again. Close your eyes and imagine the life you truly want. Don't shrink it down to what's realistic. Let it expand. Let it lift you. Ask yourself, what would I love to create, experience, or become in this life? Be bold, be honest, be free. Then, visualize that dream daily. Don't just wish for it. See it. Feel it. Take 5 minutes every morning to sit quietly and imagine your dream life in vivid detail. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you helping? What does your success look and feel like? Let the emotion of that vision fill your heart. Emotion fuels manifestation. Your body responds to your thoughts as if they are already real. That's how you train your subconscious to work in your favor. Next, pair visualization with affirmation. Speak your vision out loud. Say things like, I am becoming the person I'm meant to be. I am aligned with my purpose. I am living a life of impact and joy. It might feel strange at first, but repetition reprograms belief, and belief changes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. Let me share a powerful example. There was once a young man born into deep poverty in a violent neighborhood. Everyone around him told him he'd never make it. He was surrounded by crime, addiction, and hopelessness. But inside, he held a different vision. Every night before bed, he'd close his eyes and picture himself standing on a stage, inspiring thousands. He imagined wearing nice clothes, traveling the world, living in peace. He started saying to himself, "This is not my final home. I was born for more." He had no evidence, just a vision. But he held it, every day. Eventually, he started reading books, speaking better, working hard. People mocked him, but he didn't stop. 10 years later, that same man became a world-renowned motivational speaker. His name is Les Brown, and his entire life changed because he cherished his vision. He believed what Alan taught, that the dream in your heart, no matter how small it starts, can shape your future. Now it's your turn. Let me ask you, what vision have you stopped believing in, and why? Maybe it was something you dreamed of as a child. Maybe it was a business idea, a passion project, a career, or a way of living that once lit your soul on fire. But life hit hard, and you let it go. You told yourself, "It's too late," or "I'm not good enough." But I'm here to tell you, it's not too late, not even close. James Allen believed that no matter where you start, you can rise through vision and ideals. He wrote, "You will become as small as your controlling desire, as great as your dominant aspiration." The question is, what are you aspiring to now? Are you building your days around small survival goals, or are you waking up with something bigger inside you? Your life becomes your vision. So guard it, grow it, fight for it. Here's your challenge today. Write down your highest vision in detail. What do you want to create in your life, your work, your health, your relationships? Read it every day. See it every day. Speak it out loud, and take at least one step toward it daily. Big or small, it matters. Momentum builds miracles. Your vision is not a fantasy. It's the seed of your future. Your ideal is not a lie. It's a reminder of who you really are when you're not being limited by fear. So keep dreaming. Keep believing. Keep building the picture of the life you want. Because your mind is always listening. Part 7. Serenity, the ultimate power. There's a kind of power that doesn't shout. It doesn't push. It doesn't need to dominate or prove itself. This power doesn't come from titles or loud voices. It comes from stillness. It's the quiet, unshakable presence that walks into a room and calms the storm. It's called serenity, and James Allen considered it the crown of self-mastery. In As a Man Thinketh, Allen wrote, "Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom." That one sentence holds the weight of a lifetime of truth. In a world of noise, chaos, and constant reaction, serenity has become rare, but that rarity is what makes it so powerful. True calmness isn't weakness, it's strength. When your mind is steady, your decisions become sharper. When your heart is still, your influence expands. The calm person sees clearly, thinks deeply, and leads wisely. Serenity, Allen teaches us, is the ultimate demonstration of inner mastery. Now think about your own life. How often do you react to situations without thinking? Someone cuts you off in traffic, you flare up. A coworker challenges you, you become defensive. A partner disappoints you, you lash out. These are all reactions, and reactions are usually rooted in fear, ego, or insecurity. But serenity invites something else: response. Where reaction is immediate and emotional, response is conscious and composed. The difference is everything. Serenity doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you choose not to be controlled by your feelings. It means that no matter what's happening around you, you can stay centered inside. That's real power. In fact, Allen wrote that serenity is a sign of a man who has fought and won the battle of life. It's not passivity, it's victory over chaos. When you're calm, people trust you more. They lean into your energy. They follow your lead. That's because serenity emits stability. In a storm, we all look for the calmest voice. In a crisis, we look for the stillest mind. Think of a great leader you admire. Chances are, they weren't just smart or loud. They were composed. Whether it's Nelson Mandela in prison, or Gandhi walking in silence, or Oprah listening before speaking. Serenity commands respect. It doesn't need to take over because it already has influence. But how do we get there? How do we become serene when the world constantly throws us into chaos? James Allen gives us the answer. Thought. Every act of calm begins with a calm thought. If your thoughts are racing, panicked, angry, your outer world will follow. But when your mind is trained to return to stillness, to breathe through conflict, to reflect before responding, you regain control. You become the master of yourself. One of the best ways to develop serenity is through intentional silence. Each day, carve out a few minutes to just be. No phone, no music, no stimulation, just you and your breath. Silence reveals the noise we didn't know we were carrying. It helps us observe our thoughts, instead of being trapped by them. In silence, clarity rises. You realize that most of your stress isn't from the event. It's from the meaning you gave it. With silence comes space. With space comes choice. With choice comes peace. Reflection is another powerful practice. At the end of each day, ask, where did I lose my peace today? What triggered me and why? This isn't about guilt. It's about awareness. Every trigger is a teacher. And the more you understand your triggers, the more you can train your response. You'll begin to catch yourself mid-reaction. You'll start to breathe instead of explode. And over time, you'll notice something magical. The world still spins, but you don't spin with it. Another underrated practice is stillness in movement, learning to remain calm while taking action. Whether you're in a meeting, a busy commute, or a tough conversation, serenity means staying internally still even when life is fast. Athletes call it the zone. Monks call it presence. James Allen simply called it wisdom. Let me share an image to bring this home. Imagine two leaders standing before a nation in crisis. One is loud, emotional, pointing fingers. The other is quiet, centered, listening. People begin to gather around the quiet one. Why? Because he's not panicking. His presence says, "We will get through this." That second leader is the true guide. Not because of charisma, but because of calm. History has proven this over and over. Nations are not moved by noise. They are moved by those who embody peace in pressure. But make no mistake, serenity is not passivity. It doesn't mean you let people walk over you or accept injustice. On the contrary, the calmest people often make the boldest moves. Serenity isn't the absence of action. It's powerful action without internal chaos. It's choosing your battles. It's speaking when it matters. It's acting with precision, not panic. The calm person isn't afraid to stand up. They're just not pulled in 1,000 directions by emotional whirlwinds. They are clear. They are grounded. They are unshakable. Now here's your reflective challenge. What triggers can I learn to stay calm through? Think about it. Is it criticism? Is it being ignored? Is it things going wrong? Start identifying those pressure points. And then, instead of avoiding them, train for them. Like an athlete trains for the game, you can train for peace. Next time that trigger hits, take a breath. Create space. Choose your response. Even one calm response is a victory. Here's the deeper truth. Serenity isn't a gift you're born with. It's a skill you develop. through thought, through practice, through intention. And when you master it, you don't just change how you feel, you change how you lead, love, and live. James Allen ends his chapter on Serenity with this unforgettable line: "The strong, calm man is always loved and revered. He is like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land." What a vision! To be that tree. To be someone who brings shade to those burning in stress. To be the one others lean on. Not because you're perfect, but because you're peaceful. So today, practice serenity. Make calmness your power. Let stillness become your strength. Part 8. The Law of Cause and Effect. Mental Addition. In the grand architecture of life, nothing happens by accident. James Allen, in As a Man Thinketh, reveals a deep and sobering truth. Our lives are not the result of chance, luck, or fate, but of thought. Everything we experience, from success to suffering, joy to hardship, stems from a cause. And that cause is often mental. This is the law of cause and effect, applied to the mind. It's the foundation of personal power and responsibility. When you truly grasp this law, life stops being a mystery and starts becoming a mirror, reflecting your thinking back at you. Let's begin with the principle. Every mental cause has a life result. Think of your mind as a garden and your thoughts as seeds. Each thought you plant, positive or negative, grows into an outcome. A thought of fear may grow into anxiety. A thought of resentment may bloom into strained relationships. A thought of confidence may blossom into opportunity. You may not see the result immediately, just like seeds don't sprout overnight. But give them time, and your external world will echo your inner world. This idea might be uncomfortable at first. After all, we've been conditioned to believe that life is random, that bad things happen to good people for no reason, that some people are just unlucky. But Allen challenges that narrative. He writes, "Man is not the creature of circumstances. Circumstances are the creatures of man." That flips the script. It says, your reality is shaped by your inner world, not the other way around. Now, this doesn't mean that you control every event around you. You don't choose where you're born or what others do, but you do shape how you interpret those events. And those interpretations, those habitual thoughts, do create the next chapter of your life. For instance, two people might lose their jobs. One sees it as failure, spirals into bitterness, and sinks further. The other sees it as a signal to reinvent, learns new skills, and rises. The event is the same. The cause is different, because the thoughts are different. There's no such thing as random suffering. Every consistent pattern of pain in your life has a mental root. That doesn't mean it's your fault, but it might be your responsibility to change. If you're always anxious, always broke, always in toxic relationships, ask, what thought seeds am I planting? What beliefs am I carrying? Allen isn't blaming people. He's empowering them. He's saying, you don't have to live by accident. You can live by design. Here's a powerful practice. Trace your current life circumstances back to your thought patterns. Start with one area: finances, health, relationships. Ask, what is the result I'm seeing here? Then dig inward. What beliefs have you held in this area? What stories have you repeated to yourself? For example, if your finances are chaotic, ask, have I been thinking with fear, scarcity, hopelessness? If your relationships are strained, ask, have I been thinking judgmentally? Have I expected rejection? This isn't always easy. It requires brutal honesty. But it's worth it, because once you uncover the root cause, you can plant new seeds. You can shift from victim to creator. Let's walk through an example. Imagine a man named Sam. Sam is constantly angry and dissatisfied with life. He blames his boss for his lack of success, his spouse for his unhappiness, and the government for his financial problems. He feels the world is unfair. But one day, someone challenges him. What if your thoughts are shaping all this? At first, he resists, but slowly he begins to observe himself. He notices that every morning his mind floods with bitterness. He dwells on what's wrong. He expects people to let him down. He complains more than he creates. Then it hits him. He's the common denominator in all his problems. It's not that the world is against him, it's that he's been broadcasting negativity and receiving it back. This realization doesn't fix everything overnight, but it gives him power. He stops blaming and starts learning. He begins each day with a new thought. I am responsible for my results. He journals. He practices gratitude. He shifts his internal story. Slowly, his external world follows. He doesn't need to control others. He just needs to master his thinking. That's the freedom that comes when we claim responsibility. Not blame, responsibility. The moment you say, I created this, you unlock the power to say, I can change this. That's liberation. That's authorship. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You're the writer of the story. This doesn't mean guilt or self-punishment. It means awareness, because only what you're aware of can be changed. If your life is off course, the steering wheel is still in your hands. Allen said it best. Let a man radically alter his thoughts, and he will be astonished at the rapid transformation it will effect in the material conditions of his life. Now, let's talk about a tool to bring this alive. Every day, ask yourself this question. What result in my life can I trace back to my thinking? Maybe it's a stressful job environment. Are you bringing anxiety or lack of boundaries? Maybe it's a stagnant income. Are you thinking in limitation or avoidance of growth? Maybe it's a distant relationship. Are your thoughts shaped by judgment or fear of vulnerability? Trace it. Own it. Then change it. Also, try this exercise. For 7 days, write down one negative thought that crossed your mind and how it may have shaped your actions or emotions. Then, reframe it. If the thought was, I'll never get ahead, change it to, every step I take prepares me for success. Over time, your mind will begin to default to empowering patterns, and so will your life. To end this section, here's your reflective challenge. Where am I blaming when I should be learning? Scan your life for the areas where you feel most frustrated. Now ask, not what's happening to me, but what am I thinking that creates this pattern? That's where your power lies. That's where transformation begins. James Allen didn't write this book to impress us. He wrote it to awaken us, to show us that the mind is the root of all experience, and that by mastering our thoughts, we master our destiny. That's not just philosophy. It's the law of mental cause and effect. You don't need to beg life for blessings. You need to align your thoughts with the results you want, and life will mirror them. Part 9. Thought and Achievement. Every great achievement in human history, every invention, every revolution, every towering success, was first born in thought. The skyscraper existed in the architect's mind before it reached the skyline. The best-selling novel lived in the writer's imagination before it ever filled the page. The Olympic medal was visualized 1,000 times in the mind of the athlete before it was hung around their neck. James Allen, in As a Man Thinketh, makes it crystal clear. All achievement begins in thought. Before action, before movement, before results, there is a single seed, an idea, a belief, a mental image. Your achievements tomorrow will always reflect the quality of your thinking today. This idea might seem obvious, but it's also profound. Because if your results aren't where you want them to be, don't first look to your circumstances. Look to your thoughts. Achievement doesn't come from talent alone. It doesn't come from luck, or perfect timing, or even from hard work in isolation. It comes from a combination: clear thought, followed by focused action, sustained through habit, and crystallized into destiny. Allen believed that a person's outer success is merely the shadow of their inner commitment. Consider this chain: thought, action, habit, destiny. It all begins with the seed of thought. You think a focused thought, "I want to build a business." That thought inspires you to take action. Read a book, register your name, talk to mentors. Repeating those actions forms habits. Waking up early, managing money, serving customers. Those habits shape your identity, your results, and eventually your destiny. But the entire sequence collapses if the thought isn't clear, strong, or sustained. That's why Allen urged readers to guard and cultivate thought like a precious asset. And here's the beautiful truth: dreamers become doers. Every inventor, every artist, every visionary, before they achieved anything, dared to imagine. They didn't wait for permission. They didn't rely on evidence. They let the vision in their mind outgrow the limits of their environment. Allen writes, "Dream lofty dreams, and as you dream, so shall you become." Your dreams are not indulgent fantasies. They're blueprints for your becoming. Think of someone like Thomas Edison. Before he gave light to the world, he held the idea in his mind, an idea that many mocked. He failed over 1,000 times in his experiments, but he didn't stop because he wasn't chasing results. He was obeying a vision. Or look at Serena Williams. Before she became the face of modern tennis, she saw herself lifting trophies long before she ever won one. Her father had her and Venus visualize winning from a young age, turning mental images into muscle memory. The results followed the belief. The trophies followed the thoughts. But this comes with a warning. There's a danger in thinking without doing. Some people get stuck in the mental realm. They dream, they plan, they talk, but never move. Thought alone doesn't change the world. Action is the bridge. You must turn mental images into muscle actions. Allen is not calling us to daydream. He's calling us to thoughtful achievement. Thinking without doing leads to frustration, but thinking paired with consistent effort births greatness. So, how do we live this truth practically? Start here. Think bigger. Act daily. Persist always. 1. Think bigger. Challenge your mental ceiling. If your current vision of success feels comfortable, it's probably too small. Ask yourself, what's one level above what I'm aiming for? Stretch your self-image. If you can hold it in your mind, you can begin to move toward it. 2nd, act daily. A dream without action is just a wish. Every day, take one small step toward your goal. Consistency compounds. Even if it's 10 minutes a day, the habit of action turns the abstract into the actual. 3. Persist always. There will be setbacks. There will be delays. But the dreamer who becomes a doer never stops because of difficulty. They persist because they're loyal to their vision, not just their feelings. Allen believed that the soul attracts that which it secretly harbors. So harbor resilience, patience, and belief. Let's use an analogy. Imagine your thought as a spark. Action is the fuel. Habit is the engine. Destiny is the destination. You can't just strike the match. You have to light the fire, keep feeding it, and let it power your journey. Thought alone is the starting line, but consistent thought aligned with effort takes you to the finish. Here's another real-world story to inspire you. J.K. Rowling, the author of the Harry Potter series, visualized her story long before a single book was published. She was broke, depressed, and writing in cafes, but the image of the wizarding world in her mind was so vivid that she refused to let it die. She thought it, believed it, acted on it, and stayed with it, even through rejection after rejection. Eventually, the world caught up with her vision, and the rest is literary history. So now, the spotlight turns to you. What are you thinking? Are you thinking like someone who wins? Or like someone who is waiting, wishing, doubting? Your thoughts are not private whispers. They are blueprints. They shape how you feel, how you act, and what you achieve. Let's reflect. Are your dominant thoughts aligned with the results you want? If not, the change begins there. Not in the world, but in the workshop of your mind. Here's your challenge. Am I thinking like someone who wins? Someone who wins thinks with clarity, confidence, and conviction. They don't dwell on limitations. They don't entertain doubt for too long. They don't over-identify with past failures. They think about possibilities, plans, progress. They imagine success, not as a far-off dream, but as an inevitable outcome of focused thinking and persistent effort. So, take a moment. Look at your current results. Then look at your current thoughts. Are they in harmony? Or is there a disconnect? If there's a gap, don't panic. Just begin today with one powerful thought. A thought that reflects your highest self. A thought that lifts your standard. A thought that says, I am capable of creating a different outcome. Because in the end, achievement isn't accidental. It's intentional. It begins in thought. It lives in action. It solidifies through habit. And it culminates in destiny. James Allen's words are timeless because they remind us, success isn't out there. It's in here, in the mind, in the silent factory of your imagination, where tomorrow's triumphs are being built today. So, dream, think clearly, act boldly, and persist always, because as you think, so shall you achieve. Part 10. The Silent Power Within You. There is a power within you, quiet, steady, and invisible, that shapes your life far more than any external force. James Allen referred to this as the silent power of thought, the unseen energy that forms your circumstances, character, and destiny. Unlike the loud and often frantic actions the world applauds, this power does not boast or clamor for attention. It works in silence, rooted in inner stillness and mental clarity. And yet, it is this quiet force, this internal dialogue, this realm of intention and imagination, that builds nations, transforms character, and fuels true success. Quiet thought is a powerful force, not because it shouts, but because it directs. Every time you pause and deliberately guide your thoughts, you're engaging with the creative mechanism of your mind. Like a sculptor working silently on marble, your thoughts shape your reality one intention at a time. It may not be visible at first, but over weeks, months, and years, the results become undeniable. Just as the roots of a tree are hidden but essential to its strength, so too is your inner thought life to your external achievements. This truth runs counter to what many believe. We often associate results with hard, visible labor, hustle, noise, attention, and constant motion. But Allen knew something deeper. The people who truly master life are not those who merely work harder, but those who think better. They align themselves internally, and from that foundation of peace and vision, they act deliberately. Their actions are not reactive or random. They are calm, targeted, and effective because their minds are ordered and clear. To cultivate this kind of inner power, you must begin with your inner dialogue. What are you saying to yourself all day long? When no one is watching, what thoughts echo in your mind? Are they filled with fear, self-doubt, and confusion? Or are they grounded in clarity, calmness, and confidence? This self-talk is not a private indulgence. It's the script you're writing for your life. Your internal world dictates your external world. Change begins in the quiet. You don't need hours of silence or isolation to build this inner power. Just 5 minutes of mental rehearsal each day can begin to change your life. Sit quietly, breathe deeply, and imagine yourself living your highest intentions. See yourself handling stress calmly, achieving goals confidently, speaking with clarity, making wise decisions. Feel what it's like to move through your day with purpose and peace. This isn't fantasy, it's mental training. Just as an athlete visualizes the game before it starts, you can rehearse your life before you live it. This practice strengthens your mental focus, aligns your emotions, and makes success feel familiar rather than foreign. And the results? Subtle at first, but powerful. You may find yourself less reactive, more composed under pressure, more focused in conversation, more energized throughout the day. And when others are spiraling in stress or confusion, you remain grounded, not because you're lucky, but because you've trained for this in the silence of your mind. Think of the calm thinker who sits quietly in a meeting, saying little, but when they speak, everyone listens. They don't need to dominate the room. Their presence carries weight. Their clarity of thought leads to clarity of action. While others scatter their energy through noise and drama, the calm thinker directs theirs like a laser. This person achieves more, not because they're more talented, but because their inner world is well managed. Their silence is not weakness, it's strength under control. This silent power shows up in every domain of life. In business, the quiet strategist often outmaneuvers the flashy competitor. In relationships, the thoughtful partner who listens and reflects creates deeper intimacy than the one who constantly talks. In leadership, the composed individual inspires trust and respect simply by their presence. These people aren't louder, they're deeper. And depth of thought, of character, of intention is what ultimately drives meaningful achievement. But in our noisy world, this inner power is constantly under attack. Notifications, opinions, scrolling feeds, breaking news, all these external distractions pull us away from ourselves. And when we live externally, reacting to everything, we lose touch with the inner guidance system that should be leading us. We become like leaves blown by the wind instead of the tree rooted in stillness. So here's the reflective challenge. Do I nurture my inner world, or do I get distracted by noise? This question cuts through excuses. If your life feels scattered or off course, the first place to look is not out there, but in here. Are you spending time alone with your thoughts? Are you directing them with purpose? Or are you letting the world write your mental script for you? To return to your power, start small. Dedicate a few minutes each morning or evening to quiet thought. Journal your intentions. Visualize your day. Reflect on how you want to show up. Feed your mind with wisdom, not noise. Replace aimless scrolling with deliberate silence. Silence is not empty. It's full of answers. In that stillness, your greatest insights emerge. Your next best steps become clear. Your strength returns. And over time, this inner work builds something remarkable. A quiet confidence. You no longer need to prove yourself constantly, because you're grounded in who you are. You don't chase approval, because you're aligned with purpose. You don't get thrown by circumstances, because you've already rehearsed peace in the midst of chaos. This is the silent power within you, and once you tap into it, no one can take it away. In closing, remember, loud doesn't mean strong. Fast doesn't mean effective. Visible doesn't mean real. The deepest power works in silence. And your thoughts, quiet, focused, intentional, are the tools through which you shape your world. Don't underestimate them. Nurture them. And trust that the most meaningful transformation begins not with noise, but with the still, quiet decision to take control of your mind. Because in the end, the person who masters their inner world eventually masters everything else. Part 11. Final Wisdom. We've reached the end of a powerful journey, a journey into your own mind. And if there's one truth that stands above all others from As a Man Thinketh, it's this: you are not a victim of life. You are the creator of it. Your thoughts are the seeds, your circumstances the harvest. Your inner world is the workshop where your character is molded, your destiny designed. Nothing changes outside until something changes inside. This is not just philosophy, it's the mechanism of transformation. Let's recap the wisdom we've uncovered so far, because each insight is a stepping stone toward a more empowered, intentional life. First, thoughts shape character. You are not your environment, your upbringing, or your circumstances. You are the thinker behind all of it. Character is the sum of your repeated thoughts. If you habitually think with courage, patience, kindness, and strength, those qualities become who you are. You don't have to find yourself. You build yourself with each thought you allow to take root. Second, thoughts create circumstances. The outer world reflects the inner world. Struggle, limitation, or chaos are not accidents. They mirror the dominant patterns of your thinking. If you change the way you think, your life must eventually follow. Poverty, failure, and hardship often begin in the unseen form of doubt, fear, or aimlessness. Conversely, success, peace, and prosperity grow from clarity, belief, and vision. Life doesn't happen to you. It grows from you. Third, purpose directs thought. A life without purpose is like a ship without a rudder. It floats, it spins, it crashes. But when you have a definite aim, your thoughts fall into alignment. You think better. You act better. You live better. Purpose filters distraction, energizes your decisions, and gives meaning to struggle. It keeps you centered when life pulls in 100 directions. A powerful question to ask yourself each morning is, what is my purpose today? That answer will shape your focus, emotions, and actions. Fourth, self-control builds strength. Every great man or woman in history was first a master of self. And self-mastery begins with the mastery of thought. Lust, anger, jealousy. These emotions don't come from nowhere. They rise from thoughts that were permitted to grow wild. But when you observe your thoughts, challenge them, and redirect them with discipline, you begin to cultivate real inner strength. You become harder to offend, quicker to forgive, more focused on progress. Your emotional life settles. Your decisions improve. You stop reacting and you begin responding with wisdom, not impulse. Fifth, serenity is the highest form of mastery. Calmness is not weakness. It's power under control. It's the ability to remain still inside when the world outside is shaking. The serene person is not lazy or passive. They are powerful because they are undisturbed. From this state, you make better decisions, you draw people toward you, and you inspire trust and leadership. Serenity is the reward for disciplined thought and clear purpose. It's the final fruit of a well-trained mind. Now, let's shift into something even more important than reflection: application. Theories don't change lives. Practice does. So here is your action plan. your toolkit for putting this wisdom into daily use. First, track your thoughts. Begin with awareness. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting or journaling on the thoughts that dominated your mind. Were they fearful or confident? Critical or creative? Did you focus on what's possible or what's wrong? This self-awareness is the foundation of mental freedom. 2. Choose your ideals. What qualities do you want to live by? Integrity? Courage? Gratitude? Pick 2 or 3 core ideals and consciously align your thoughts and actions with them. Post them somewhere visible. Remind yourself daily. Ideals give your thinking shape and direction. 3. Visualize with purpose. Don't let your imagination be hijacked by fear. Use it intentionally. Every day, take 5 minutes to visualize yourself becoming the person you admire. See yourself succeeding, staying calm, solving problems, helping others, and living fully. This isn't daydreaming, it's mental conditioning. 4. Respond, don't react. Life will always bring surprises. The difference between suffering and strength lies in how you respond. When something difficult happens, pause, breathe, ask, what would the highest version of me do right now? This small habit rewires your emotional life. And now, if this message has resonated with you, if you've felt even a flicker of recognition or clarity, take the next step. Like this video if it gave you something valuable. Comment your biggest takeaway. What idea struck you hardest? Subscribe to this channel for more deep, timeless wisdom that challenges and empowers your thinking. But more importantly, beyond the screen, journal every day. This is your personal laboratory for mastering your mind. Write your intentions. Reflect on your thoughts. Celebrate your growth. Be honest with yourself. This simple practice will transform you from the inside out. Because at the end of the day, the real work isn't reading or watching. It's thinking, observing, and choosing on purpose. No one can do it for you, but you can do it. Right now, today. Start planting better thoughts. Nurture them. Water them with belief, clarity, and action. And watch what your life becomes. You're not just here to survive. You're here to create, to lead, to grow, to love, and to rise. The seed is in your hands. The soil is your mind. The harvest is your future. So ask yourself this final question. What kind of life am I creating with the thoughts I allow today? Your answer is already taking shape. Choose wisely. Choose powerfully. Choose now.